Hello, gamers, and welcome to twitch.tv/UofT Esports. We are going to be bringing you guys the Canadian Esports Nationals Fall 2024 quarterfinals. I am your host, Spaffles, and I'm joined by the ever so lovely Orbital. All right. So this is the game we've all been waiting for. We didn't have a stream earlier today because we got a bye. We came out of our group as the top seed, which means we won all of our matches. It's very exciting, very good to go into. But we've got a bit of a ferocious opponent coming up, TMU Esports. They have done a number on the academy team, the B team for UofT, but now we're looking to come back hot and heavy with this matchup, right? With that, let's go into the rosters.
Yeah, we're going to have a good time again for Toronto Blue. It's going to be a pretty interesting time overall. They got a bye in the opening round, but of course, TMU are no slouches in their own accord. So I'm very, very interested. I know the teams have a little bit of history, of course. They've played each other, possibly at least the teams have history playing each other in the past, I believe. And so, the winners of this one will move on to face off against the winner of Simon Fraser University and University of Gulf, I believe. So that'll be another fun one to kind of think about.
Yeah, much so. I'm incredibly excited to see where this is going to lead. We have a lot of veteran talent from both of these teams. We've grown to, love and appreciate all of them. UofT bringing back 4 members of their core roster that they had last time, all alongside UofT really just promoting some fresh talent. We have some renames. Phantoms is going by Bearfu now. So a massive shout out to Bearfu, especially if you've been watching out for the Intramurals games, has been much of a personality. But yeah, here we go as for the teams. UofT, we've got Solus, Bearfu, Jumbo Player, and Deferato. So for those of you that were watching us last year, Solus, Bearfu, and Deferato were all members of the main team.
Yeah, this is going to be really, really good. Again, keeping eyes, in my opinion, on Solus and both these, of course, being DPS players. It is important to keep eyes on them, but when it comes down to it, UofT need to be fast and very, I want to say very centered on what they want to do. So hopefully we get to see UofT really, really get things under control.
Yep, and as for TMU, like I mentioned before, we have 4 members returning from the roster that took down the Academy Blues last year. We've got Zappy, Square, Kiwi, Min, and Oats. Kiwi is a newcomer, picking up on the Doomfist. I'm going to just take a random shot here and say that they're going to be a dive center tank, which is very, very exciting to play. I love seeing those characters. I do want to highlight Square and Zappy, these dual DPS. They're just a menace on the front line and the back.
Yeah, this is going to be really, really testing the waters here for TMU. They're a squad that, of course, like we said, has some history, but overall the team, I don't know too much about the squad, so I'll be sitting there going, hey, are they going to win it out? Of course, they are warmed up here in the tournament, so I always like to leverage a little bit in that favor if you warmed up, if you're ready to go. So they went ahead and took their previous matchup 3-0, so I expect them to be on fire and ready to put out another good showing here in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, I mean, for a team to come out swinging in the Esports Nationals, taking their last matchup 3-0, that's a pretty decisive victory. I mean, what are some of those key pillars that you think that TMU could be, or that would, contribute to the success of a team in Overwatch?
Good map movement, number one. Making sure that you're always together. One of the big things is I always see is getting picked off. And that's always a difficult thing to deal with. Of course, when it comes down to it, you can't really deny it. However, you want to try and stay together, or if you're running the tracer like SQWR is, then hey, maybe you can run a little bit of interference. Maybe you can get a little bit different in terms of getting into the backline and such. For TMU, this is going to be a test in the opening matches. And remember, this is a single elimination, so everything has to be on the line pretty much from the get-go.
Yep, and they're just coming in hot and ready. Meanwhile, UofT, they might take a little bit more time to get going. Now, as for the map order, you are all familiar with, we're going to be starting off with Samoa Control. And then after that, when we get into the later stages of the series, we're going to be heading to Hybrid, Flashpoint, Push, and Escort. So, Orbital, what are your opinions on Samoa?
Nothing really. For me, like I said, like this is control. No matter what, it's always the same. And I hate saying that, but at the same time, it's control. There is not a lot of variation. You go into the same point either way. So for me, control is actually the most neutral. I'm not looking at the map. I'm looking at the players. Are they ready to go for that back and forth? Are they ready to start kind of working their way forward into this matchup? This, to me, is always that starting point of we are figuring out who is going to be number one picking the next map, and number two, who gets the first map onto the board.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Now, as we start heading into the match, the first point that we've secured is the court, right? The sunny beaches of the Samoa. We have a large open area in the middle of the map, surrounded by just a little bit of high ground around it. I'm very, very interested in seeing how these teams play with more of a flat surface, and where the point itself sort of becomes a shooting gallery for your teams. Now, so Orbital, what? Oops, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get into the game here. Hopefully, get underway pretty neatly here. As of course, rushing out. I love the fact that we do have that Reaper, that we do already have kind of that silliness and the Echo already being brought out here. So yeah, just go ham inside of these little houses. I mean, the early start you were talking about the firefight. I mean, this is just the opening salvo for this entire map.
Yeah, now both of the Malgas on top of each other. Zappy opens with the first kill onto Deferattle, and just blowing this fight wide open.
It's a very nice start, but of course, how much more are you going to get out of it? That's the big thing. And already with the first cap, TMU start things off very, very strong. And in this kind of cataclysmic battle, the crazy thing is not many people have fallen either. So UofT trying to battle back as hard as possible, but getting shut back very, very quickly.
Yeah, Barefoot with a nice knockdown. Min and Jobin get 2 kills. Solus trades it back. Prompt with another, but Zappy makes sure that the number is continuing to be in TMU's favor.
Oh, very, very clean. And again, in a Reaper versus Reaper playoff style, UofT, they were just getting shut back. They got pretty much funneled into a single fight, which really allowed Athena into that mix. Having your brute force tank just centered on the fight meant that there was no real way out. So UofT, they got to rally back pretty dang hard with a mirrored composition. There's only so much you can do.
Athena looking to engage, same as before, but the duplicate does come out for Prompt. UofT are firing back twice as hard. The rally does secure a little bit more HP. Zappy with a kill on the back line, and the dupe falls down. Min falling to very, very low HP, and Athena on their last legs secures the kill onto Min, and Barefoot falls shortly after. Oates gets the kill onto Prompt, and Zappy with another. Athena closes the fight out onto the break.
Oh, and TMU looking strong. That is 2 straight team fight wins in the same area, meaning UofT do need to figure out a sort of avenue back in. Keep in mind for them, they're on the weaker side. And of course, this is just, round 1 of 3, but you want to start off on the right foot. Right now, getting closed out 100-0 would not be good.
Malga dupe to lead off the fight. Same thing has happened before, but the Death Blossom splits the difference. Solus gets a kill. Barefoot with another Prompt, just closing this fight out, and that's a decisive victory for UofT.
Yep. Very, very neat. And again, with this much needed victory, you close it out. You go ahead and push to your own point capture, but a single win will reverse it. And keep in mind, TMU have already won a couple fights. That was a big, big usage of UofT. Now they have to fight standard ground once again, and I'm not sure they're able to.
Athena does dive in, leading the charge. Solus is going to be returning it in their favor, but Prompt is duplicating the Reaper. And I got 2 Reapers on his side. Solus gets the first kill. That's one of them down. Death Blossom secures 2. Can it find a third? Yes, he does. Deferattle closes it out.
All right, well, another good win, and it was a much needed one as well. They've successfully stalled out TMU, and I mean, this was a beauty of a play. Now, how much more are you gonna get, right? That's the big question. You already got 1 win. You're waiting for TMU to start activating their own ultimates, and that's where the real test comes in here. But of course, it's gonna be Athena just looking to run things out if they get the chance.
Talking about running in, going in heavy with the Cage, gets booped back though. He's going to be fighting for their space. Cage falls down. Can they convert it? Prompt is the one to destroy the shield, and it's going to be a full retreat from UofT as they're just trying to buy some time. The time Athena will not afford them. He pushes forward. Zappy with a double kill off the Death Blossom. There's your fight win for TMU.
I mean, we kind of expect that one. It is the blossoming that has allowed both teams to find that opportunity. But for TMU, that's the one that they really did want. For them, it's way easier to work things out because, again, they're not worried about this continuing ongoing battle. They themselves are already in OT, and I mean, all they have to do is win this next.
Yep, Athena diving into the backline. There is no tank to support them. Rattle falls first, but they do manage to flip over the point. Prompt gets a kill onto Oats. Solus with a Death Blossom, but the duplicated Reaper does not find any.
That actually kind of hurts. So really well done by UofT to scramble back, but they have to get members back on the map. You can go ahead and see Prompt trading in to that Tracer and hoping to get a little extra, but that's going to be the turnover once again. You're able to zap on top for just a mere moment.
In just a moment, indeed, Rattle pops the rally, able to get in there, but the Malga chews through that shield. Jovabang with the Beam and Athena securing another. It's just a very, very scrappy fight. Can they take down the Malga, though? No, at 1 HP. Zappy comes in for the rescue. Athena fighting for their lives. Barefoot doesn't last long for this world, and it's a first point cap for TMU.
I mean, it was well fought. Very, very difficult battle at the very end, but UofT were just a little bit slower, relied a lot on that Death Blossom, relied a lot on that ultimate change, and that meant TMU, as soon as those ults are expended, you're saying, hey, we got the fight. We're not worried about that. So go ahead, change out, go right back to the same composition as before. Deferettle saying, okay, let's go ahead and stay with that extra shielding, with that rally if we can. But are we going to be able to do much more? You take a look at Min on the other side, having that Lucio now swapped over. That's what we were expecting. A little bit more standard. So a little bit more brute force tactic. Again, for round 2, for TMU, they're looking to close things out.
You know, it's very, very important to see that TMU, they just have that speed advantage. They're the ones that are always making these engages happen. And the way that these fights are playing out, and they're able to play both when they're ahead and have the point captain, and even when they're coming back, is really, really, really strong. Athena does lead the charge here. Jova's not going to be able to stick too many stickies onto the fight. Zappy, though, going in. Jovabang gets the first kill onto Solus. Now it's a full-blown retreat for UofT.
Oh, boy. Yeah, this is just an opening salvo once again. Of course, Malga just never dies. So we've already understood that one, but Athena is more than happy to kind of reign supreme, getting the heals behind. So it's really just how far can you push with this? And once again, it's TMU to get cap number 1.
Cap number 1, and it's just going to further extend all of those advantages that they're really, really good at. UofT are going around for a flank, but they were sussed out. Solus gets dropped down to low HP. It's very, very safe so far, though, and they're looking to bring this fight all the way around to the point again. Barefoot is not really finding an opening that they're able to take advantage of, but it's a duplicate onto the Malga. 2 Malgas. Are they able to chew through it? No. Orbital Ray comes down, is their savior. Solus gets the first kill onto Athena. Barefoot follows it up with a kill onto Min, and now it's just hunting down the stragglers.
Very, very clean opening. This is why a lot of supports love running it. It's such a great clearance. You go ahead, clear out the entire area, you force TMU to spread, and they're not allowed to group up like they want. Now, fight number 2 occurs. TMU locked at 42. If they win this next fight, though, they're going to be happy, but take a look at Solus and Prom. Both of them have the ults ready to go in the game mix.
All the way into the spawn, but it gets melted by the Orbital Ray. Reaper and Malga going in deep. The dupe is putting in work, but Prompt is not able to do enough. Oats gets the kill into Jumbo Player. Prompt trades it back, but Oats shuts down another, and Athena closes it out.
Very, very nicely done. And again, TMU, they bite right back. It was a solid salvo. Now, the question is UofT. They've expended a lot. Can they find those branch opportunities? Can they find that mix, or are they going to have to fish for ultimate charges before they can actually battle it out?
No more flank shenanigans. It's going to be a fight right on the point. Rally gets popped for Rattle. It is a cage to root everybody in place. Death Blossom chews through their health pools. Oats, Min, and Zappy all getting one for themselves. That's a clean 5-0.
I mean, that's just TMU in a nutshell. Very nicely done. Now UofT stuck in a situation where their lives are on the line for this map number 1. You don't really have a choice. You have to break in with nothing but your guns at hand, whereas Min has that rally ready to go. TMU just saying, we don't care. We are going to be in your way to the bitter end.
Yep, indeed. Oates falls down to low HP. A rally from Min starts off the fight. Jova Ben kills Prompt off. Min taking down Rattle. That's two. That's three. Can Athena clutch anything else? Getting drawn out by Barefu, but Zappy's the one to take it down, and that's an easy second point for the TMU roster.
Ooh, getting things started off, TMU take the lead, but I'm sure UofT are going to bounce back. I have no doubt in my mind that they're going to have the ability to fight back, and I hope they do, because I do want to see a full series. I also want to see, Toronto Blue be able to really put themselves in a good spot starting out here. I like this kind of play of the game, though. We do see that strength behind.
Mhm.
I mean, every so often, you see TMU really shine, and I love it so far.
Yeah, just the amount of plays that they have, just the cohesiveness that they have as a unit, right? They're bringing forward the exact same roster they had last year, and it shows. You have just the cohesiveness between Zappy, between Athena, between Min and Oates, the speed boosts onto just being able to trample the team, no matter who it is that actually leads the charge. That was fantastic. And did you have any, big plays that you want to highlight here?
No, not really. I mean, it's
Hmm.
TMU just from the get-go. They are very strong off the gate. Now, granted, I mean, the Reaper and the Echo combos, we've seen this before. It is nothing uncommon to utilize, especially with tight corridors. I mean, tight little windows. I mean, the houses really, they just corral everyone around. So it's something that we've seen before. I think it's something
Hmm.
that is almost predetermined to occur at least once or twice inside of each round. So it doesn't really make me worried. What is going to make me worried is we move into this hybrid map. And if we do see the situation go down where, you see the likes of Toronto Blue just not have a good handle on either end, that's when I really start getting worried, because now you have that straight up attack and defense. You have a very direct way of playing. You don't have that issue of deciding are we going to be on offense or defense depending on how control goes. So this time coming around, I do expect to see a lot more bluster out of Toronto Blue. And for TMU, I mean, they're a strong team. What else can we say? They're a very competent squad that shouldn't be slept on.
And with the next map being confirmed to be King's Row, this has a lot of opportunity to really be a fresh start for UofT. Is like you mentioned, with control, you really have to be open and ready and draft your comp around being either the attacking or the defending side. You can't commit too hard to one theme, because if you falter, you have such a hard time getting back into the game. Now, UofT, they have their clear cut, they have their defense, they have their attack. What do you want to see coming into King's Row?
I want to see just clean play overall. I want to see UOT. I mean, this is a map that has been played numerous times. Anyone in collegiate, at least in the North America side, has seen it. I mean, this is the standard pretty much anywhere that you go. So anyone that's played Overwatch, I think also says that this is the standard. I mean, this one's in practice pretty much every single time. Main thing I'm watching for is how quickly can you get on the point, and how quickly do you let the point get taken as well early on. A lot of teams we've seen kind of struggle getting out of the gate. As soon as you get out of the gate, though, that's when things really start getting rolling. There are 2 or 3 checkpoints when you take that payload in that we'll be watching for. These are the standard practices. For TMU, though, I'm curious, are they starting on the attack or defense? For me, if you start on defense, it always feels a little bit better. Mainly because I personally like to be on defense first. That way I know how far I have to go on the attack. But
Mhm.
we'll see how they decide to play it.
And it's really a matter of perspective, like you mentioned. When you're starting on the defense, you are the one that sets that pace. You're the one who determines how far you have to push on your next round, and you set that concrete goal for yourself. But then also, as the attacking team, it can be helpful to, attack first and sort of have that leeway where it's not so clear cut. You're pushing, you're trying to deepen your trenches as far as you can go, and then afterwards you can fall back on it during your defense. So it's a bit of a give and take, right?
And we also get to see those differences come out in the compositions themselves. You can go ahead and see that, of course, TMU are on the defense here. I do believe they opted for that because Toronto Blue were allowed to pick up the map. So,
Yep.
you go ahead and move things along here. You get to see that Reaper again. Solace running that Reaper and then the Echo. This is the same style composition as before. Both teams actually still running it because this is that proper style meta. We'll see if TMU hold it down or if UofT open up the gate with a pretty hefty chance.
Yeah, it's going to be just a bunch of pre-fire off the main point. They're not going to be contesting at the chokehold. Instead, they're going to be holding off on the statue. TMU are trying to lure that team in. Come, walk at us. We dare you to. And it looks like Jovabeng is going to fly in for the initial engage. The Stickies don't find their host, but Torbentime falls down, and that's going to be a very, very quick fight win for UofT. They're just pushing all the way through, making sure there's nobody alive to contest this point.
Yeah, and I like this. Very, very nicely done. No chance for TMU to bite back, and that, to me, screams that TMU were not ready for that battle. You mentioned the fact that there was no chokehold, a choke point hold from TMU. They opted to fall back. They opted to fight into more open ground, and I think that gave a lot of opportunity for UofT, for Toronto Blue. But now it's actually Bearfu that's in trouble.
Yeah, all of that initial... Yeah, all that initial damage is getting soaked up, and the healers weren't quite ready for it, but they're able to disengage, they're able to heal back up to full. Interested in seeing how this fight plays out.
I mean, we could see it go one of two ways, and that way being a very difficult way. Just trying to push through this little railway is actually a huge difficult point. You can go ahead and see Torbentime on the side, just trying to layer in that damage, but in goes a rush.
Bearfu heads in Torbentime with a masterful re-engage. It's going to get put on the back foot. Double dupes down Orbital Ray. And in the end, it is the Death Blossom that takes down 3. TMU hold on.
Very, very well done. We kind of expected this as well. As soon as he's Zappy with a full charge, whenever you see the ult ready to go, I fully expect that to happen. Same with Solace, who has theirs ready to go. Bearfu almost on point, 99 ready to go. Now you can go ahead and push through this chokehold.
You know, Bearfu engaging with the cage, like you mentioned. Solace securing 1 kill. Jumbo with 2. Support, who is that? And that's a pretty decisive win again.
Just that easy. It's just that easy. And we mentioned this before, UofT and TMU both playing off these ults pretty much back and forth. But UofT expending 2, making sure they're ready to go, and now pushing a little bit further. You can go ahead and get ready for the next battle, though, as Torbentime is ready to try and stop this push.
Yep, very interested in seeing how they're going to choose to engage, when they're going to engage, and how they're going to do it. Torbentime ricocheting off of that payload, caging their key targets, and Bearfu does not look long for this world. It's Oates that's going to secure that kill. Zappy gets one as well. Double rallies are out, but with no tank left alive, you're going to have to struggle a lot to get that one back.
Yeah, that's the unfortunate scenario to be in, but for TMU, again, holding things back, now pushing that payload ever so slightly further back. UofT, they're going to have to rally back up. They're still waiting for Solace and Bearfu to reach their ultimate breaking points, and then once they do, they can get that huge run in. But Prompt might have something to say about that if they get the right opportunity.
Yeah, that dupe, the double Mauga potential, it's sure a lot of firepower that's going into this fight. And it is going to be Torbentime that's the first to engage. Bearfu retreats back into the library, but Prompt secures the kill into Oates. It's a duplicate on Prompt. UofT now have 2 Maugas on the field. Can they push them back? Can they secure any kills? Does not seem likely. Death Blossom to cut through the noise. Zappy secures 1, Jova secures another, and it's a full-blown retreat for UofT.
And I think that's a huge part about it. TMU, they don't have to wait for secondary ultimates to be available. They just use that Death Blossom. They just pop it right away, ensuring that TMU have an extra 4 to work with later on. That is now the second stop that they've been able to throw down. They've been able to chew about a minute off the clock, and you're taking a look, about 40 seconds is needed for every push or pull. So for UofT, you have quite a few chances, but this payload being stuck in a suboptimal position for themselves, they got to push hard.
You have Orbital Ray for both teams now. Jova did secure a Prompt that takes down another potential, but Solus double kill with the empowered Death Blossom. There's not going to be much they can do in the face of that. The Mauga is just continuing to fight for their life, a life not long lived.
Nope. Very, very nicely done. Of course, that was an expenditure of 2. Solace always having that backup in the pocket, but To push through is very, very important. You're able to force your way into that first checkpoint. So for TMU, you're going to go ahead and fight it back, but probably not too far out. You're going to allow this point to be covered and then fight for the finish. You're looking at about 3 minutes total to go ahead and knock on through the UofT. Have to go ahead and keep fighting, and they find a quick pick on mid. Very nicely done.
Yeah, very, very well done. TMU already did not have a contest on the second point. They would have had to stretch themselves very thin to do it, but that kill just really made sure that they had no business securing that. But now Solus is getting poked out incredibly hard by Jova. Jova is looking to make a name for themselves, really pressure out there, and we're waiting to see how this pressure is going to erupt.
There's only so much that you can do, but for right now, this is going to be a little bit of that test. Prompt still finding Zappy. That's an early kill. Now Solus jumping in the mix.
Yeah, Torbentime leads the fight, but Barefoot secures the cage, and that is going to be a duplicate and a rally, and UofT take this in pretty handed fashion.
Oh, man. Well done, Barefoot and Deferetto saying, okay, nah, that's it. And TMU, they're going to try and rush. This is the last-ditch effort. Desperate attempt at a save.
Nope, they're not able to touch in time. 1 minute and 55 seconds remaining. This is a whole new side of UofT we just did not see on Samoa. They were very comfortable. They felt like they were in the driver's seat pretty much the entire time. It's looking like a competitive series.
Well, this is what I mentioned. Again, control to me doesn't always feel like the namesake or the main deciding factor. It has drastically different implications, drastically different styles of play and understanding. And sometimes teams just feel a little bit more comfortable with that straight push and pull tactic. Now, granted, UofT, they did very well on the attack. They now have to put up the defense. And if they can, it'll be a nice wash of a series. But TMU, I'm sure, have some options of their own. We go ahead, take a look at the composition, and yeah, looks to be about the same. No shakeup there. I mean, this is to be expected. Both these teams are playing this exact same composition, one of the strongest in the current meta, and I mean, might as well. So let's see if TMU can do what UofT did in the previous round and come on to a very strong start.
Yeah, I mean, it just, all of these compositions, all of these members of this team to form this super comp, they just kind of make sense. You got Reaper with all of that extra lifesteal, as well as just the pounding amounts of damage. You got Echo to be your extra Samoan with 2 extra big guns. What's there not to love? Here we are running into the round.
I think this is going to be that test. This is going to be a tricky one. Once again, though, UofT also doing the same, giving a lot of space, making sure TMU are caught in the crosshairs, but not to face first, and the first initial battle will commence.
Yeah, Barefoot just surrendering even more territory around there, but it does work this time. Prompt takes down Zappy, and it's a full-on retreat from TMU. This is probably what TMU were trying to go for on the first point, what do you think?
Oh, I would, because now with the regroup, it's going to be UofT after getting those kills. They're now sitting up pretty high with those ult charges. Nothing crazy yet, though, so still holding it down as best they can. TMU still trying to break through the center.
You know, Torbentime does go in, but it's not going to find anybody with the stun. Barefoot forced to retreat, and now they are starting to get that ultimate percentage. Solus manages to Wraith form all the way out of the fight, but does not get caught out. Oh.
I mean, this is a lot of ground being given. UofT, though, now pushing right back in. That's going to be a nice little catch, plus a dope up. Go ahead, Prompt trying to throw down with them, but unfortunately, you run out of a lot of HP, and TMU fire right back. It is a quick team kill as TMU rush forward.
And all they really needed was that orbital ray, that focus power potential, where they were just firing all secured on the Malga. There was just no amount of healing in this world that would have been able to keep him alive, even with the second Malga. Just didn't quite have it. Now TMU march onwards, and how are they going to take this fight?
I think they're gonna, make sure to take it for what it is. I mean, TMU, they have 3-4 ultimates ready to go. As we mentioned before, all you need is the orbital ray, but now you got so much more to work with.
Yep, Cage secures everybody on the ground. Zappy with a quadra kill. Min steals the penta. And that was pretty quick, like you mentioned. They had the ultimates available. They used 3 in that fight. And things are just going smoothly.
Of course, this is exactly where I think UofT got stuck last time. They got stuck in this old chokehold. But it's going to be given a lot of space this time around. So TMU, they are looking to make quick work of this round as well. No stopping this payload. And UofT, I mean, they're going to step up at the very last moment, but how much are they going to get?
Barefoot now contesting on this payload, and we do see Solus on the high ground, just making sure that there's no sneaky rabbits up there. No, it's just Mauga on Mauga action. It's that back and forth that we know and we love and expect. Torben time does lead the charge, and it's a cage on the backline that catches 4. Rally to hide behind, though. It does look pretty bad for Barefoot. Torben time gets the kills. Zappy trades out Solus and gets another as well.
It's just that easy. It is just that easy. TMU making things look silly. And honestly, UofT, they're miles behind right now. Keep in mind, if we go into the OT, you only got a minute 55 to really reach as far as you can. But TMU saying we want all the time in the world. There has not been a moment where they've actually been stifled. And honestly, it's looking to be more of the same. Prompt trying to do their best, throwing down. But how much is UofT going to get?
You know, Zappy falling off the high ground does have the Death Blossom in hand. We've been sure to point out, whenever that Death Blossom comes out, it's going to be one hell of a fight for TMU.
I think this is going to be that big test. UofT, they don't really have the ultimates available, and they're going to get hit by, or use a Ray.
Orbital Ray does buy them a lot of space. Jovabing's duplicate gets burned, but for the most part, they've been able to kite it out with little to no losses. Now, Solus on the sneaky angle does get caught out for the silly goose that they are, but they are still waiting, lurking for that potential Death Blossom.
And I think they're going to try and hold their way in. Here they go.
Death Blossom throwing out. Barefoot gets a kill. Zappy gets 2. It's never eventless. He gets the duplicate as well. Make that 4. Jovabing with another. And just a solid march to the final point.
Yep, that was just a solid push and attempt. But, I mean, that was just... I mean, TMU held so well together. So well done. This final battle, unfortunately, is just one in namesake here. However, Solus might get something.
The Widow Swap is fruitful, takes down Jova, but nobody is able to survive on the point. They played hotcakes with it, and unfortunately, they just couldn't keep it going. TMU secures the 3rd point with a solid, respectable 3 minutes and 15 seconds remaining. That's a lot.
Yeah, this is the difficult part now. This is UofT with a minute 55. How far can you go? That's the big question. How much are you actually going to get here? And to me, it's just TMU know how to play the aggression a little bit better. They know how to push forward. And their ultimate expenditures, I think that's something that we have to talk about. They've been able to use Zappy on their lonesome, Oats on their lonesome. There have been moments where it just feels TMU get a lot more for less. They don't have to spend as much out of the wallet, meaning that they have far more opportunities to make these big impact plays, whereas UofT, they get focused, so focused on the likes of double ult situations. They just run into some problems right now, shaking things up as well, bringing out the Genji, plus a little bit of a difference as well. Jumbo still sitting with theirs, but Deferettle saying, let's have some fun.
Yeah, really making sure to just switch things up. It's UofT on the attack first because they do have the smaller time bank. I'm excited to see where things go. Solus, Genji, mixing it up, breaking the comp for what feels like the first time this series. We also have Deferattle on this end. That's just a lot more damage going out between the teams, and will it be the difference maker?
I don't know. I kind of wonder. Here. This is going to be that chance as well. So UofT, how far can they go?
You know, Solus taken down. Min is the one to secure that kill, and even though TMU have been hiding behind that wall, they are able to come out swinging when it matters. Deferattle secures a kill, prompted another while they're on the way down, and then they get shut out.
I mean, that was just so good and so clean. Already about 30 seconds burned off that clock. So TMU starting things off strong. UofT, they need to be able to fight back. They do have a couple charges for Prompt. Prompt could make something happen in the next maybe 30 to 35 seconds. But then it might be a little bit too late.
Okay, that capture percentage just start ticking up, but Barefoot falls down to low HP. Oh, it's flying up above the fight, making sure to keep his tank healed. And there's not really too much going on. Never mind, Min falls first, and the duplicate comes through as well. Mauga. Two Maugas on the field. You're not going to be able to deal with that. And it's a secured fight for UofT.
I mean, that's a big win, and it was a much necessary one. But of course, remember, time doesn't really reset. You got to keep moving. You got to keep things moving as fast as possible. So the fact that TMU won early fights and forced down this timer, I mean, I think that's a big win in their own. They forced that payload to really not move that far. So for TMU, they just want to hold this right here, right now. All they have to do is win out for 10 seconds.
You know, they're defiantly marching up until this archway. When you have a team solidly set up on defense on this arch, there is no digging them out. It's like dirt under your fingernails. There's nothing you can do about it. But maybe TMU are looking for a good scrub, and Jovabang falls in, takes down Zenyatta, gets traded back by Prompt. It's a Dragon Blade into Cage. Zappy with a double kill on the Death Blossom, and Oates secures another. That's it. It's all done. The blink of
I mean,
an eye.
that was brutal, but so well done overall. TMU deflect everything back and say not a chance in the world. They are stopped pretty much at the doors. So UofT looking down the barrel of a difficult distance. You take a look here. It's not that far to go. For TMU, what? That's a one battle. That's about it. And then moving into the next, it'll be quite simple. So for TMU, it's not that far of a distance to see if they can do it.
You know, they fought valiantly and they've set themselves up for success, and especially with Jovabang's self-sacrifice, you know, taking down that Zenyatta, removing the Transcendence, that safety net that the team was relying on so dearly. That was a beautiful, beautiful play, and really just made everything work, right? Because when you're investing so many ultimates, you have everything to lose from Zenyatta popping their Transcendence. Now, it does look like both of these teams are kind of running it back with the exact same composition. Can they make a difference?
That. Yeah, I would expect that. UofT, they're sitting here going, we need a little bit of a shakeup. Obviously, we're not winning in the mirror matchups, so you got to bring us a little something different to the table. I like it, and you saw some of the difference. However, I haven't seen Genji's too much on the defense side, so this might be a little bit of a shocker to me, at least. TMU have played with the Reaper and the Echo so cleanly that honestly, this doesn't feel like it's going to be a great stop. But TMU, out the gates, UofT, what can they do?
Yep, and they are opting again for that laid back defense. They're going to kite backwards as much as possible, and then when the fight comes to a head, when they go onto the point, that is when UofT are going to spring into action. Zappy on the flank, trying to pressure in that back line. They're all huddled up in the hotel and just waiting for their go sign. Torben time is that light, and they take down Barefoot with almost no hesitation. Zappy takes down Solus as well, and it's a full-blown retreat. Are they going to be able to walk back?
I mean, they can, but you're still giving a lot of ground. So Zappy taking out Deferettle, and there's not a chance. Solus now swapping over to that Tracer into the Reaper and just saying, we got to do something, but capture is done. We said how quickly TMU can make this happen. I mean, they literally only had to push through a foothold, and Torben time saying, yo, what's up?
I'm making sure that everybody back up. We're not giving you the space. We're not allowing you to get that strong foothold right next to the archway. We're going to prevent you, and we want this point as seamlessly as possible. 2 meters, 1 meter, and it's not even a touch.
UofT, unfortunate falling there. That one's going to be a little bit hard to swallow. They fought well in the early stages, but TMU very, very quickly take control right back. And I think this is necessary. We've seen Zappy really put in a lot of work here into this series and into this map itself. I mean, this ultimate was glorious to watch. It was so perfect, so neat, so simple as well, that again, it just feels like the squad of TMU cannot be stopped.
Yeah, I mean, the complete, sort of void where the defensive utility typically is just really enables all of these big team fight winning ultimates to go crazy. They have the Death Blossoms that always secure at least 2 kills. They have the cages that are pretty much a death wish for anybody who enters them. And then the orbital ray as well, just empowering them to go even further when they couldn't before. There's just so many key ability usages here. And like you mentioned earlier, TMU, they just seem to be bargain hunting. They always secure way more value than their ult is worth in the first place compared to the way that UofT is playing out these fights.
Yeah, this is just TMU stepping up. Honestly,
Mhm.
there's a reason that they're here at the Nationals, and for U of T, it's a little bit of a struggle bus. Honestly, this composition that has been built up by TMU, it's not one easily broken. I mean, you have the Malga in the front lines, you have the Echo as well, if you really need to. But if you notice, there have been more opportunities where U of T have had to clone out or dupe out the Malga just to get a little bit of extra bluster. Whereas almost every time we see a dupe coming out from TMU, they're always using it on a Reaper. They're always using it on their other DPS. They have so many more opportunities. And I want to say that's better call on positioning from TMU. They position well, and that ensures that the DPS don't have to take as much damage. They also ensure that Torben time is almost always very, very healthy. There's always a time for Torben time to step back, step away from the battle, regen up, and be able to get back into the mix. That you don't need that extra meat shield. So that is very, very impressive there overall. So I think it's very, very good time for this squad as we're getting into Suravasa is going to be the next map.
Oh, interesting. And like you talked about before earlier, Flashpoint and Control, they're not too incredibly different. It's one of those modes where it's a lot more scrappy, a lot more brawly, and you have to be prepared. Are you going to be on the offense? Or are you going to be on the defense? It all just flips as at the head of a dime, and you have to be there. You have to be ready. You have to be engaged, and you have to go when it's time. So with Suravasa coming along, what are you expecting? What do you want to see from these teams?
I want to see UofT. I want to see Toronto Blue really, really push. I want to see them fight hard. I want to see Solace, and like I said, Solace and Prompt. I want to see them have really good games. These are two DPS that are the two DPS on the squad that need to show their stuff, and unfortunately, that can be rough against the likes of Zappy and Jova. So, it's a lot to ask for, but I do want to see them put themselves in really good positions and try and catch the likes of TMU unawares. Keep in mind, though, take a look at the top left. Kiwi is actually, just a little bit of a name change. Torben Time is known as Kiwi, so it is still the same roster, no difference.
Yep, and I mean, when we're looking at these comps, what can we expect? It's all the same, especially now so on Flashpoint where you need that extra mobility, that speed throughout the map. It just makes sense to continue running the same thing. I don't know if they're gonna be able to make it work though.
I think they can. We'll see if they can go ahead and just battle it out here in the mix. Once again, already tagging early damage. Bearfu sitting in the middle, though. UofT already inside, meaning TMU had to fight from the outside in.
A pretty strong advantage from UofT in terms of positioning at the very least, but Kiwi leads the charge in, doesn't find anybody quite yet, and that's going to be the Brig isolated. Min is actually in on the deep, in the back line. Zappy secures the first kill, but Barafu does trade it back on the isolated Brigitte. Who's more important? Is DPS? Is it a support? It turns out it's going to be the DPS. Zappy secures another kill. Barafu trades it again. No supports alive for TMU, but they're able to keep pushing.
I mean, this is going to be that push in. TMU, though, getting dropped a little bit low. Deferettle able to fire back and find an early kill, number one. Now the chase on the Kiwi. Kiwi, though, getting huge heals up.
Yep, big dupe from Prompt. Just keep the fight going, keep on pushing, keep it going. That momentum cannot stop, and the cage falls down. It's a very, very important ultimate to get off. Even though the dupe falls off, Prompt is the one who's going to be able to secure a kill onto Zappy, and the Orbital Ray is what turns the tide of the fight at the end of the day. Oates gets the kill into Deferattle, Jovabang with another one as well, and TMU are making sure that UofT melt away like butter.
And the feels bad part is UofT actually expended 2 on their own as well, the Death Blossom plus their own Orbital Ray, and they didn't get anything out of it, so now they're actually locked out. This is going to be a great stop for TMU, but for UofT, you are able to steal 78%. If you win another just ground battle here, you might be able to fight your way back in for that first point. Will it work, though? That's the question, because Zappy and Kiwi are more than ready for this ensuing battle.
Yep, double cage, everybody's grounded. Zappy is the one to get 2 kills off the Death Blossom, though, gets another one as well. Oats secures the kill onto Bearfu, and TMU, they're unshakable.
I think that was super important in the same sense that UofT got almost no ult charge off of that. Take a look, the numbers are still very, very low. Jumbo even expended a bit of that chance, tried to rally the troops together, but couldn't make it happen. So for TMU, that's a huge win on their stance. They now eclipse to 78% and looking for a bit more.
Kiwi leads the charge in, gets caught off a little off guard, but is able to retreat to the rest of the team. Bearfu does not make that charge work. Kiwi with a triple kill. Jova gets one as well. And there's your first points over to TMU.
I mean, very, very well done. Once again, another team kill. This is TMU looking to push with another possible 3-0. If they are able to, they will look like monsters heading into the semifinals. I mean, right now, TMU look in all control. Prompt for their own does have the ultimate ready. They do go ahead and maybe get that maybe get that mix in there. But will it happen?
And Kiwi leading the charge yet again. Does get melted immediately, though. Jumbo takes it back. Double kill. Zappy expending the Death Blossom very late into the fight, but is able to get 1 or 2, but not 5 that they would have needed to secure it.
I mean, that was still really, really well played. UofT able to fight hard, and that was without any expenditures. That was a ground game battle. So for TMU, they entered into that bottleneck, and I mean, they let the first capture go. Now, granted, they did this on point number 1 as well, so this is not outside the comfort realm. Instead, now they have the ultimates ready to go. Zappy still looking for theirs, so the Death Blossom has a long time to go, but will it yield results? Is it going to be TMU to fight back?
Orbital Ray guiding Bearfu into the fight. Cage drops down, and it's a double rally fight in the middle of it.
Ooh.
Solus, though, with the Death Blossom, secures 2, gets 3. Okay, there it is. There it is. That's what you needed from UofT. Keep going.
Yep. Just keep fighting, just keep moving forward, and even Solus is like, dang, I didn't expect it to go that easy. So very, very well done. TMU now, I would only assume that they can fight for this final charge, but honestly, I'd almost give it over to UofT. Don't expend too many of your own ultimates, and then maybe look for point number 3 if you can. But it looks like they're gonna charge in. TMU gonna try and take a stance.
And Cage finds nobody, unfortunately. It's such a powerful ult. Gone like the wind. Now it's a pretty neutral head-on collision. Min falls first, though, and Kiwi's charge goes wide. Proms gets another kill. Bearfu with one as well. It's a pretty said and done point for the UofT team.
I mean, they played well. They played extremely well once again. And it just seems UofT has started to find their foothold, namely finding those entry points, making sure to catch TMU a little bit unawares. The times that we've seen them battle have been, few and far between, but UofT, they essentially guide TMU into a little bit of a chokehold and then fight right back. They catch Min a few times who is out of position here and there, and that really negates a lot of the healing that TMU were hoping to use as that catalyst to make a win. So Zappy has to be more aware, Min has to be more aware. UofT gonna try and open up with the Echo.
The Death Blossom on Zappy gets 1, gets everybody else incredibly low. Solus, though, trades it back. Bearfu with another kill. Can they keep the fight alive? Oats, though, kills Bearfu, and Prompt falls as well. It was a pretty dicey fight, but TMU walk out ahead.
Oh, man. I mean, Jova, really well played. Overall, TMU in the initial fight. Remember, if the fight is in TMU's hands to start, it feels like they're in control. UofT, they were matching pace with TMU, but we're not ahead of them. That's the big call. Now, UofT get a chance once again to try and bring a fight to their own. This is a little bit localized, very central area, so maybe you can get off with that Death Blossom.
Brig almost gets sent off the map. Gonna be a Cage Orbital Ray as well as a rally. The Death Blossom secures no kills. That's the first one for this series. Jumbo player gets 2 kills in the rally form. And Def Rattle Prompt as well. That's the fight win that they needed.
I mean, that's a really, really well done one. As I said, U of T, all they have to do is call the fight on their own terms, and that's what they did. They had 3 ultimates ready to go. They go ahead and fire it off, and they bring everyone to a close. Really, really clean stuff there. TMU for their own. Once again, they lose out on 2 ultimates back. Oats and Min lose the orbital ray and then some. So that's a difficult stance. Cage is up, though, for Kiwi. Kiwi can turn around. He can find a good lock on everyone.
Yep, and Prompt as well with the duplication. Who are they going to dupe? How are they going to make it work? Kiwi engages deep and splits the entire team in half, essentially. The duplicate goes out onto the Reaper. Zappy kills Bearfu. And now with no tank, no frontline, how are they going to deal with this raging Mauga? They're not. The dupe falls in shortly after, and TMU cap this point and head on to the next.
I mean, with that, it's not even the difficult swing. It's the fact that now you're sitting for UofT in a dangerous, dangerous position because you're 1 point away, 1 flashpoint away from being knocked out of the Nationals here, and nobody would want that from UofT's side. So they're going to try and battle back. Remember, for UofT, it really depends if they're able to get to the point first. They are, but they have to defend well. Are they going to get Zappy early, or will they fall instead?
Really promising opening fight for Zappy. He gets the kill onto Bearfu, and there's just no more repercussion. You lose your tank, you lose the fight. It's simple as that. Min and Oats get their own, and it's just killing the stragglers now.
Oh man, Jumbo even hopping off just to ensure that no more charge goes over. UofT lose the initial battle, and now TMU ready to go ahead and cap things off. They have the ultimates ready. They're ready to move on to the semifinals. UofT need one stalwart stand if they want to bite back in the series.
Yep, they need to come back. They need to hit hard. They need to hit fast. And they need to be consistent. If they win this, then they have to bring it around. This reverse sweep is the only way for them to come back into the series. And can they pull it off? Bearfu here taking a bit more of a back turn, makes sure to counter the charge. Kiwi gets dropped on the low HP. Orbital raise for both teams as Death Blossom doesn't get any kills, but Jova Bang's able to clean it up. Kiwi gets a double kill, Jova with another as well, and that's it.
Yeah, that really hurts. I mean, there's going to be one singular chance for UofT. They have 3 ultimates ready, but I mean, TMU, they've been so stalwart in their defense tactics. They've been so good at forcing UofT back. It's going to be an all or nothing gamble here. UofT get one more chance to go ahead and push this to a flashpoint 5.
Yeah, now they're leading in the fight. Cage goes down, but Zappy secures the kill. Shuts down Deferattle and Prompt. They're coming through. They're making these work. Prompt with the Cage as well. Can they hold on for dear life? This Malga dupe is weighing out its worth in gold, but Oats secures the kill into Deferattle. Prompt's attention is split, and unfortunately for them, they're not able to get the Cage down. It's Echo versus Malga. Who's going to win? Bearfu is the one who's going to win. Comes out from behind. What a shocker. And they're able to delay the fight for long enough that Solus was able to make it back. But Jova shuts them down. We thought they had it. They were so close. But at the end of the day, TMU secured it. A quick, a pretty decisive 3-0.
Honestly, I would say everyone on UofT gave their all at the end, though. This was not an easy victory by any stretch. UofT put up a battle at the very end, but TMU were ready. They knew there was desperation out there. This play of the game, by the way, this always feels bad whenever Jumbo, just able to kind of fly through the ranks there. Very, very nicely done. Overall, TMU were ready for this battle. They knew what they needed to do. They knew the compositions were pretty much going to be the same. I mean, it's an understanding of the composition and the weak points as well. It's why we saw UofT be the first to have to swap off of those characters, off of those heroes. So very nicely done from TMU. UofT, though, it is sad that we saw the fire kind of burn out by map 3, but overall, I think they fought just as hard as anyone else.
It was a valiant effort, and we came oh so close at the very end, but at the end of the day, TMU had what it took to take them forward, and they're going to be facing off against SFU in the next part of the tournament. But don't leave just yet. We're going to go on to a short intermission, and then we're going to have an interview as well as our MVPs for this round. See you in a bit. Hello, all, and welcome back. We are joined by the lovely Bear Fu, the tank player for UofT Blue. Hey, how are you doing?
Doing I'm doing great. It's a it was a it was a game.
Yeah. Well, I mean, just opening question, as the tank player, Mauga, what are your thoughts? You like Mauga? Have you practiced Mauga? What's going on
Well,
there?
we all be practicing manga. I think every team's been doing it, right? If you don't play
Hmm.
manga this meta, you're kind of just like you're gonna lose out every single time. But I think it's not the worst meta to play. In fact, some people on our team actually really enjoy playing the meta. So I won't blame the meta for this loss. That's not the problem here.
Hmm.
That's really
It's
fair. And I
good to
mean,
take in stride.
yeah, going into this map as well, one of the big things that we saw is the standard, it feels like, in the King's Row. But before that, the control did not feel as comfortable for you guys as maybe you guys wanted, especially with the mirrored compositions. Was this something that you expected going up against TMU, or was it something that kind of caught you off guard? Same composition, the map play, and everything like that?
I think well we obviously came in expecting that we were both gonna play Mario. But TMU was very, very fast, and they seem to have figured out how to play control a lot better, to play faster and to play first. And we tried to anticipate it and try to see how we could counteract it, and we couldn't really devise a strategy for control. So that was really good on them. But those are strange. We've also never scrimmed so well once, so that is also on our part for not coming in prepared. So
Hmm.
Yeah.
for future reference, maybe we should play the map pool and have scrims.
I think you guys, one of the big things that I love about watching you guys play is you guys do scramble quite well. There are points where you see, the step ups. We see that level of, okay, we can adapt. It just maybe wasn't as fast as you would have liked in there. And that did show in the future Kings Row as well as in Flashpoint. We saw you guys scramble extremely well, actually, in my opinion, in Flashpoint when we saw some of those final battles come out here. Going into Flashpoint, were you guys worried at all? I mean, yes, it was a hard loss, but you guys fought very well, in my opinion. That was one of the closest maps that we saw of this series.
Yeah, I mean, our adaptability is strong, but really, you don't want to be in the back foot at any time when the meta is so dominant and when there's so little room for, well, flex heroes, really. So if you're forced to adapt because you're really getting diffed, really, on the meta, that's really not where the position you want to be at. But I don't know, I think the team was very positive this match, and their attitudes were really, really nice. There was not much tilting happening, and it was really just passion from each teammate to see how they could improve and to see how they could adapt. And that's just I enjoyed that part. And no matter what, it was still a really competitive like environment, and it was just an enjoyable game to play. So yes, I did enjoy the Flashpoint map a lot. The point that we did win was actually was well played, well executed, I think. Besides the poor ult management, but maybe that's on my part as a tank player to call ults better. But honestly, I don't even know how you're supposed to call ults in this meta when the standard is to use four every fight. But you don't
Yeah.
have four every fight. But the enemy has Juno ult every fight, so I don't know.
Hmm. Yeah, I mean, it was a valiant effort. We, especially at the very end of Flashpoint, we really, really were cheering for you guys and how close everything got right down to the wire. It was just fantastic to watch. And I mean, thank you and thank you for the rest of the team for really putting on a spectacle today, and we hope to see more from you guys in the future. Do you have any closing thoughts, any shout outs, anything that you want to, you know,
Honestly, just shouting out
yeah.
TMU. They played really well. They played to their tempo. They played to their strengths. And if any TMU fans watching, they should be happy that they came out on top because they deserve this win. Although next time we meet in a different meta, it won't be the case anymore. It will be 3-0 the other way around. Guarantee it. Guarantee. You can mark my words.
Uh,
But they played well this time, so they can have this win.
yeah, that's the confidence you like to see. They took down the academy, they took down the main team, but next time we got you guys. All right, well, thank you so much for coming on, and
Thank you for having me.
yeah, thank you. Now, yep. All right, now back me and you, Orbital. I did want to ask you, though we were discussing a bit before about MVP for this series. Do you have any thoughts, anywhere that you like to go with that?
Ooh, MVP of the series overall? Is that the question that was being posed?
Yep.
Ooh, that would be tough. If you take a look at the entirety of the TMU side, in my opinion, everyone played to their own right aspects. I mean, that was even mentioned by Bayer Fu. Every single player, on TMU's side deserves that kind of victory side. And I think for me, QE still holds my own, mainly because the DPS of TMU, very, very strong. Utility, very, very strong. However, the cages and the body blocking, there was a clear difference in how well they were able to hold their ground with it. And granted, the healing coming out, very, very important, but it did feel like Toronto Blue just were not able to get through the enemy Malga. They were just having that difficulty. And I think that plays a lot into the spacing, especially going from, the comfortability of having, maybe a flex tank back in the old Overwatch days to now only one. Your positioning as a tank is very, very important. I think Kiwi played that to a full extent. There's even a reason why we saw the cages throw down to a multi-kill from him. So very, very impactful. I personally give it to the tank player.
Yeah, I mean, you put down some very good points. Heading into it, my thought process was sort of, I really enjoyed seeing Zappy's Death Blossoms. Always when you saw Zappy had a Death Blossom, you knew that it was going to be a good fight for TMU. You saw him go in. You always saw it secure at least, one or two kills. But I do have to agree with you that Kiwi's impact was really felt, map wide in the way that when this tank took presence, when they were clashing with the enemy team, when they met up with Bear Fu, it was always Kiwi with the faster thinking, with the engage, with the that sort of extra drive that it really took for TMU to set the pace and to take that step forward. So, I mean, I fully agree. I think that Kiwi is the MVP for this match. Congratulations and thank you. Yeah, I think that's going to be the rest for us tonight. We do have another stream going live at 4 p.m. Eastern Time. It's going to be the Valorant 8 team. They're going to be playing in the Valorant Nationals tournament. So make sure you guys turn out for that with all the support and the love that you guys have been pouring out today. And yeah, we'll love to see you guys again. Have a good one.